making sure the knees stay opening, like over the second toe. We all carry stress. Like you said, it's not easy to not worry. If you'd like to practice yoga while you're pregnant, it's never recommended to start unless you've had a practice before the end of your first trimester.
Welcome to Tiny Tales, where we explore the unique experience that giving birth is to every woman. We will hear the personal tales of women in Ghana who will take us on their journeys
to motherhood, from conception to birth,
to the first 3 months after the baby is born. This season is sponsored and co-hosted by Gaia Organic,
your plug for fresh, healthy organic food in Jawulu, Accra.
My name is Amanda and I'll be your host. Our expert guest for this episode is Sarah, a motherhood coach. Sarah will be taking us through the roller coaster of emotions mothers go through before, during, and after childbirth. Welcome, Sarah. It's a pleasure to have you here. So can you tell us, the viewers and I, of course, what advice you have for new moms and new pregnant moms?
Sure. Thank you, Amanda, for having me here. And the number one piece of advice I would give to a pregnant woman or a new mom is to learn how to hear the voice of your intuition, because there will be many people offering their viewpoint on how you should be while you're pregnant or how you should raise your child, and being able to filter that information through your own sense of what feels good to you is vital.
What are some of the do's for easy labor? What do you do to prepare your body or yourself to get it very easy in the labor, which is very rare, easy labor?
Well, every labor is different. I've given birth 5 times and each one has been different from the previous one. And my advice would be to walk while you're pregnant, to practice some yoga or some movement that feels good in your body, and also to learn how to rest when it's time to rest, and to nourish yourself well with good, healthy, whole foods.
When do you think a working mom, someone who has a job, a 9 to 5, at what stage of the pregnancy would you advise they stay at home or they start resting?
I think that depends on your pregnancy. If you have a healthy and normal pregnancy with no complications, you really don't necessarily need to rest before giving birth and going into labor. Towards the end of the pregnancy, it's natural that the mom will want to nest, like prepare the home, and her energy level actually increases as she's preparing to give birth and welcome her baby. So it's actually not necessary to have a rest period unless the mom feels like she needs to rest, or wants more time to prepare, and a week or 2 is more than sufficient. But we never really know when our babies will come.
So you are a motherhood coach.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little about it?
Sure. So what I do is I help women who are trying to conceive, pregnant, preparing for birth, or already mothering their children, to relieve any stress or anxiety or worry that they may carry just due to walking in new territory, and also to feel good about the choices they're making in motherhood, and to keep their mind and body and healthy, happy, and strong.
Not worrying is not a very easy thing to do. So how is motherhood? How is a motherhood coach important? Why is it so important to release stress, and how do you go about it, since it's not that easy?
Sure. I think we all carry stress. Like you said, it's not easy to not worry.
Yes.
But when we can tune into ourselves and how we're feeling, and when we notice, oh, I'm having some anger come up and I'd like to work through it so that I don't yell at someone I love, or do something that then I would maybe feel badly about. So that's where the yoga and the mindfulness practices come in, because you can work with your thoughts to release how you're feeling and call in something that serves you better than, maybe feeling angry and yelling. Yes, we do want to release our anger. We don't want to suppress it and push it inside and pretend everything is fine. That doesn't help us. But if we find a healthy way to process, let's say, stress or anger or worry, then we can work from it in a responsive way instead of a reactive way.
It still sounds easier said than done. So let's say someone who can't, who doesn't have the option of a motherhood coach.
Mm-hmm.
How would you advise they calm their minds and release their stress?
Sure. So the beautiful thing about our brains is we can program them. So a lot of times we have a certain reaction to stress, and that's been something we've done since we're a young child. So even just pausing and taking a few deep breaths before reacting to a stressful situation begins to create new neural pathways in the brain. And every time you pause before your reaction and you choose more consciously to respond to it, then you're strengthening those neural pathways. And after you practice enough, that will be your default. That will be your operating system. So even just pausing and taking a few deep breaths, which anyone and everyone can do, starts to rewire the brain.
With the issue of releasing stress, does it also work for new moms? As a new mom, you always want your baby by your side. Do you go to these yoga classes with them, or do the motherhood coach come to you at home?
Yeah, typically I would go to see clients in their home, so that way they're not leaving their new baby, or they can bring their baby to a private session somewhere in the area. Yeah.
Do they do the sessions with their baby, or do they have to put their baby aside while they do the session?
Well, I'm all for keeping your young baby with you. So any way that we can accommodate, working with a mom and having her baby with her, then that's what will be done.
So it won't distract the session?
No.
Oh. So are there postures for when you're pregnant, and then are there other postures also for when after delivery, after childbirth?
Yes.
And these help in the same way, releasing stress?
Well, for the postures that you would use while you're pregnant, they help you in facilitating an easier birth because you're moving your body in ways that keep your pelvis open and free, and you're learning how to use the movement and the postures that can help you actually deliver more easily. And then after, when you're postpartum, I always tell moms to wait to heal first. Let yourself heal. There's no hurry. But then there are postures that can help to re-strengthen your core.
So can you take us through some of these postures?
Of course.
Is it safe? Is these yoga postures, are they safe for the mother and the baby?
Yes. So if you'd like to practice yoga while you're pregnant, it's never recommended to start unless you've had a practice before the end of your first trimester. So once you've completed the first trimester, then there are many postures that are safe for both the mom and baby and actually beneficial for both the mom and baby. And I know a lot of women see, like all these crazy challenging yoga postures and think, well, I'll never be able to do that while I'm pregnant. But actually the goal of prenatal yoga is to support your body while you're pregnant, and also to help with the childbirth process.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to guide you through some of the most useful practices that you can do during pregnancy to help feel good in your body and also to prepare for childbirth. So we'll start with just some simple hip circles. We'll place the hands in a heart shape over the womb and just begin moving the hips in a circle. And the circles can be as large or as small as feels good to you in your body, and also starting with either direction because we will go the other way. And then just switching direction. And while we practice yoga, we always try to take nice, slow, deep breaths through the nose. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. And we never hold our breath in any way while we are pregnant. So we'll stop our circles. And another motion that's helpful to keep the pelvis nice and relaxed is to do figure eights with the hips. So we'll start with the left hip forward, and then we'll bring the left hip back, and we'll push it to the right hip forward, back, left forward, back, right forward, back, left forward, back. Okay, so that gets our hips nice and moving. The second posture we'll come into is what I call the birthing squat. So we'll step the feet a good distance apart, definitely wider than your hips. The toes are turned out, the heels are turned in. Again, your hands can be on the womb space or on your hips or out like cactus arms or out in a T, whatever feels good in your body. And then keeping your spine nice and long, shoulders are back and down, just bending into the knees, making sure the knees stay opening, like over the second toe. So again, whatever feels good to keep your hands there, and then standing to release. So being in that squatting position strengthens the legs. It also helps to tone the pelvic floor for you while you are pregnant. So we're coming down now onto hands and knees. And we're going to be moving our spine in positions called cat and cow. And we always initiate the movement from the base of the spine. So as we inhale, the tailbone lifts, the belly tucks, and the heart opens towards whatever is in front of you and also your gaze. And then as you exhale, the tailbone tucks, the back rounds, and you look towards your belly button. So inhaling, looking forward, and exhaling to round. And just following your own breath as you inhale forward and exhaling to round. Great. Now we'll swing our legs off to one side and just come into a comfortable seated position, maybe with legs crossed in front of you. And I call this the womb heart breath. It helps to just calm you, center you, gives you a few minutes to just connect with yourself and also your baby. So the right hand comes over the heart, the left onto the womb space, making sure you're seated nice and tall, shoulders are back and down. Can allow your eyes to gently close if that feels good to you. And breathing from the womb to the heart. So as you inhale, filling up from the bottom, all the way up to the heart. And as you exhale, releasing from the heart to the womb. Inhaling womb to heart. Exhaling heart to womb. And you can come to that breath anytime you're feeling stressed or nervous or anxious, and it just allows you to reconnect with yourself and your baby. So thank you for allowing me to share these powerful practices with you.
We all know how emotionally draining it can be for expectant mothers and how it affects their closest loved ones. Yoga is a great way to be in a very healthy mental space. It isn't just for your mental health, it ushers your body into childbirth. We want to hear your thoughts and feedback, so please leave us a comment. Thank you, Sarah, for your time, and all of you watching from home. This show is created and hosted by Tiny Reusers. Thank you.